welcome everybody, and appreciate your turning out this morning. And I think we're going to have a good meeting. There's a lot going on today, and as you will see in the announcements at the end of the agenda. Well, it's good to know that Democrats are getting really active even before the formal campaign is underway. So that's the way we'll win under very difficult circumstances. Well, it is 10 a.m., so I'm going to call the meeting to order. And the first order of business is to approve the agenda, which I will share with you, I hope. Never quite sure. Okay. There is the draft agenda before you. I did enclose it in the Zoom invitation that I sent out to you, but I always assume that nobody looks at the the attachments. But there it is. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Okay, thank you, John. Is there a second? Is there a second?
I second.
Okay, thank you, Judge. All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Are there any changes or additions suggested? Okay. Then all those in favor, please. Okay. All those in favor, please go to your reactions button on the bottom of the page and press yes or no.
I've never learned to do.
So on the bottom, it's under all the pictures of all the wonderful people who are attending this morning. Sort of middle-ish, no, sort of on the right-hand side. Okay. I think, albeit not unanimous, I think we're good that we have approved the agenda. Thank you. Okay. Next item of business is the introduction of elected officials and candidates, of whom we have a fair number this morning. I'll start just with Judge Oscar Kazen, who will be our speaker shortly, and just say a little bit about yourself, and we'll get back to you then again later on, Oscar.
Well, I'm going to say that since you're going to hear from me for the next 20 minutes, hello, and I will give the rest of the candidates their chance to say, fortunately, I've been with your organization for 20-something years, so you all pretty much know me.
Right, indeed. Judge Michael DeLeon.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Michael DeLeon, County Court 7. I'm up for re-election. County Court 7 is one of our domestic violence courts that we have. Appreciate everybody's support in the past and look forward to the campaign going forward. I do have a website. It's judgedeleon.com. And I was particularly happy to see Judge Oscar Kazen here, because every time Judge Oscar, talks, I learn something new. So it's always a good thing. Thanks, folks. Good morning.
Thank you so very much. Moving right along, our esteemed district attorney, Joe Gonzalez. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Bob. Thank you. And good Saturday morning to everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to wish everybody a happy Saturday and to thank the Northeast Democrats for engaged. And I look forward to a robust campaign next year. I am on the ballot in 2022. I do have a Republican, and I would. I'm going to be working hard to remind everybody about the work going to continue with our fight in the domestic violence front and continue our reforms in the office. And so I look forward to continued support from this group.
Thank you so very much. Christine Hortick, are you running for something again this year?
Yes, I am, Bob. I'm a candidate for the 225th Civil District Court bench this time around. I just wanted to say thank you to the group for all the support you gave me last time when we tried to flip precinct 3. And I'm asking for your support this time as I run for the 225th. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Judge Michael Murray.
Had problems unmuting myself, sorry. Good morning, my dear friends. And I too look forward to hearing from the esteemed Oscar Kazen. He always has something very positive to share with all of us. So I joined Judge Michael DeLeon in his sentiments. I wish all the candidates a lot of luck. Today's the first day of filing. And so everybody have a robust campaign and let the voters get to know you. And I'll cede my time for the rest of the candidates here. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I look forward to this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Lisa Uresti Dasher, good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a great Saturday. So I am running for judge for the 285th District Court. So just real quick, a little bit about me. I won't take more than 10 minutes, Bob, I promise. I'm just kidding. I have the experience needed. I've looked it up the other day because there was some misconception, but I've filed about 350 to 400 cases throughout the state of Texas, representing my clients. And I've also started my practice in family law, which is 55 to 60% of what this court hears. And I've been involved in this community my entire life. And I've also been helping Democrats win in the county for at least 25 years. So it's great to be with you this morning. And thank you all for having this. And I may have to cut out early because I am going to be giving out turkeys for an organization I'm involved with. So if I have to get out, sorry, Judge Kazen, I may miss your speech, but I think I heard it recently or a similar one.
Thank you so very much. Let's see, Judge Helen Petrie-Stowe.
Okay, good morning, Northeast Bexar County Dems. It's so wonderful to see you this morning. I am running for re-election. I'm about to, be getting on the ballot for next year, 2022. There is a primary opponent that has popped up in the last couple of weeks, so I will be seeking, of course, all of your support again. I'm loving the job I'm doing in County Court at Law Number 1, Criminal Misdemeanor Court. Love to talk to you all about my specialty court soon. And I too am very excited to hear from Judge Kazen. He's one of my longtime friends. When I was a prosecutor, I was assigned to him when he was doing civil commitments, and we got to work together for several months and become good friends. So good to see you, Oscar, and I'm excited to hear what you have to say today. Anyway, love being with you all today and really appreciate the support you provide Democrats here in our community. And looking forward to seeing you soon. Oh, and by the way, I'm having an event tomorrow. I'm going to put it in the chat, the address. It's an open house and meet and greet with me. And I'd love to see some of your faces if you feel like coming out on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Judge Peter Sakai.
Good morning. Good morning. Am I off mute, Bob?
You're off mute.
I never know. I'm on my wife's computer, so if you see Rachel Sakai, no, Rachel was just actually on there helping me out. I'm still working with all this new technology, but thank y'all. As y'all know, I've been your judge of the 225th District Court for the last 15 years and 11 years as the associate judge of the renowned Bexar County Children's Court. I stepped down October 31st. And I kind of kept a secret of what I was doing, but I am now public announcing that I am running for county judge of Bexar County to succeed the Honorable Judge Nelson Wolf. And so thank you all, Northeast Democrats. Look forward to meeting with you and hearing from my good friend, Judge Oscar Kazen.
Great, good to hear from you. Judge Frank Davis.
Good morning, everybody. Hi, I'm Frank Davis. I'm your judge in County Court at Law Number 10. I'm also up for re-election. I appreciate your support. Been practicing law since 1993 and a Democrat since 1988. So I really am looking forward to Oscar's presentation. And I'll just sit in the corner and be quiet and let him put on the show.
Okay, thank you so very much.
Thanks.
Jacqueline Valdez.
Just a quick good morning. It's great to be here with everybody, and I hope you have a wonderful Saturday. We'll see you
Thank you so
soon.
very much. Judge Ron Ronhill. Can you unmute? Oh, there you go.
All right, I think I'm worse than Peter Sakai when it comes to technology. Ron Rangel, good morning, Northeast Bexar County Democrats. Great to be with you. Courthouse is opening up even faster as it relates to jury trials. You can always contact me at Judge Ron Rangel at Facebook if you have any questions about courthouse happenings. Great to see you all this morning.
Thank you so very much. Rosie Speedland Gonzalez, Judge.
Buenos dias. Good morning, everyone. I am driving while I speak to y'all. I've got about 6 events on my calendar today. I'm out there campaigning like all good Democrats are doing right now. I am your incumbent in County Court 13. I am running for re-election. I want to thank the Northeast Democrats for always showing up and standing up for us and working hard to make sure that Democrats are not only registered to vote, but get out to vote. And so if there's anything I can do for the club, y'all just reach out to me. Y'all have a great Saturday. I'm going to go ahead and log off. I know Oscar will just blow your socks off. He always does. So I've been impressed with this presentation in the past, and I don't think it'll be any different for any of you all. Good luck with this presentation. Good to see you all. I'm going to log off. Thank you and have a great morning.
Thank you so very much. Judge Quesada.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's Carlos Casale here from the 289 District Court. I really appreciate this opportunity to say hello, good morning. I'm out here at the VFW 9186 here in the South Side. If you can see in the back, they're giving away turkeys, just helping them out. Let me show you guys. Give me 1 second. I'm not going to take too much of your time. Well, here. Everyone say hi to the Northeast Dems, everybody. Say hi. So everyone says hi, guys. God bless you all. Carlos Casado, 289 Juvenile District Court, running for re-election. I really appreciate you guys. Bless.
Thank you so very much. I got to go do some turkey shopping myself here pretty soon, I think. Okay. Have I missed anyone? Please let me know. Okay. Then, all right. Then we're going to move on and go immediately to our speaker for this morning, who is Judge Oscar Kazen, in Probate Court number 1. And the floor is yours, Judge Kazen.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. Can you all hear me nice and clearly?
Yes.
Ah, fantastic. You know, I was just thinking as I was watching everybody in the screen here introduce themselves, just how much of a family we have all become. It made me think, since today is the first day of filing, it was exactly 20 years ago today that I first filed for judge in County Court of Law number 9. It was criminal court. And interestingly enough, I was looking at my petitions. Many of the signatures on there from Northeast Democrats are the same signatures I had 20 years ago. And that's important because I think that we as Democrats, I mean, when we come into service, it is about the service. It's not about the race. It's not about the paycheck. It's about the things that we do so that we aren't a transition. We're not transitional. We transform. We're transformative. We get somewhere, we fix it. We make it better for the next person. You know, I've been lucky enough to have been a county court at law judge where I did criminal courts and specialty courts and drug courts, and then on to do some family law. And then on top of that, the mental health associate judge doing all the mental health. And then now the probate judge in charge of all of that. And as I look back and I think about how Democrats make such a difference in people's lives, and I look at the screens, you know, I remember back in 2003 or 2, thereabouts, Al Alonso came to me and said, you know, there's this thing called a drug court. It's a specialty court. And back in those days, the drug court was the court where you would send people so they could get and go to prison quicker. They called it the drug court because they were trying to move people out of the jail and on into prison. It wasn't a specialty court. It wasn't a treatment court. It wasn't a court that helped and fixed people's problems in lives. And there's a point I'm making to this in terms of how long we've all been doing this as a family to make things transformative. Because as Al and I were arguing and fighting to try to set up these things called specialty courts, you know who was right by our side? Peter Sakai, setting up the children's specialty courts. Michael Mary, setting up the very first mental health court in Bexar County, which again, transformation is still in existence, has gone through 2 or 3 judges. Now Yolanda Huff is doing a wonderful job on that court, but in the specialty court, she's inherited it. But all of these courts began somewhere. And if you look at every single thing that is positive in Bexar County, every single court that helps people, that changes lives, if you look to every single program and every single position, and this is not a boast, you will see it was started by a Democrat. Period. There are a few specialty courts that came later in the juvenile court system, which I think are wonderful. And there were some very caring Republican judges that started those. But in general, if you look at the entirety of what the court system and how it's morphed into not being a place of punishment, but a place to hold people accountable as well as help them change their lives, you will see overwhelmingly that it was Democrats that did it. You see, because when Democrats argue, we don't argue with each other over the parking space or over who gets paid more or who has the better seat or who lines up in front of the other. We argue over how to work harder. And that's a special difference between us and them, I think. And I think we all agree that even though, as in any family, we may argue, we hug more than we argue, and we help more than we hurt, ever. So it's been my privilege for the last 20 years to have been a judge. Initially back in 2002, when I first ran for county court of law, when I mentioned Al Alonso came to me, Al Alonso came up to me and said, you know, we really want to start a thing called a specialty court. Let's see if we can get these things going. And back then, there was a thought that said you could take the robe, you could take the gavel, and instead of using the gavel to punish people, you could use the power of your office to change their lives. So we began one of the very first 2 criminal drug courts in Bexar County, where if somebody came into court, we put them on a path of restoration. They had to stay sober. We worked with them. We dismissed their charges when we could. We got them treatment and therapy and housing. Amazingly, it is the national model now across the country, these drug courts. It is best practice. It reduces recidivism and substance abuse by 80%, more than any other type of court can. So before I talk about probate court, I want to echo this theme of Democrats doing good in transformation. So many of you know that many, many, many years ago, I was a judge, and then I lost my very first re-election in one of these wave kind of elections. And I will tell you, probably something most politicians won't admit, it hurt. It was a gut punch. It very much changed and impacted me hard. Because, you know, when you become a judge, you love what you're doing. Whether once somebody wants to admit it or not, it becomes part of you. It becomes part of your identity, especially if you're helping people. But I will tell you the one thing that carried me through to today, getting onto the probate. So there I am as a judge. Oh, and by the way, the last thing you ever want to tell a judge in a mall or anywhere else are the following words. Hey, judge, do you remember me? Because there's about a 10-second pause. You don't know if they're going to hug you or slap you. And so I'm sitting in the last, after having lost the election, sitting in the last few days, and I worked to the very end, and we had the court going, and the back doors of my courtroom opened up. And there stood a man who from across the crowded courtroom says to me, hey, judge, do you remember me? And I sat back a little bit. And then he reached into his pocket. And I thought, oh, great. What a glorious end to a really crappy year. And before I could react, when my bailiff started standing, he says, you don't remember me, but I was one of your very first drug court graduates. And I know you lost the election, and I know it hurts. He said, but the only thing I can tell you is thank you. And the only way I can thank you is this. And he tosses this thing in the air. He had walked up to, we call it the bar. It's where the little double doors are. And I catch this thing, and it takes me about 2 or 3 seconds to realize what they were. They were 20, and I always get emotional every time I tell the story. They were 24, NAAA chips. And he looked at me and he said, I don't know how to thank you except to tell you the last years of my life have been much better because of you and your team. And he turned around and walked out. I have kept those chips with me for 20 years. And they guide me in every principle of how I am as a judge. And if you look across the screen here, I can tell you with certainty that across the screen of the candidates that are Democrats, they echo that exact same sentiment. I mean, I remember Joe Gonzalez, for example, he came in and he did something unheard of. He created a position for elder fraud to protect individuals who are on guardianship or who have lost capacity from people who, you would be surprised, take everything they own. These are the elected individuals you have today before you. And I can't, I can't endorse any one person, but I can talk to you about the experiences of the Democratic Party. And that is, we change things, we help things, we fix things. So now I am the judge of probate court number 1. Many of you will remember that for many, 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 many years, Polly Jackson Spencer was the judge of that court. And we all love Polly. Everybody agree? I can see the nodding of heads. And she was my mentor in many ways. After I lost that election that I spoke to earlier, just a few months later, Polly came to me, and I didn't know her as well, but she came up to me and says, Oscar, I know the work you've done in the drug courts. I've created a new position called an associate judge. You're going to do some probate, but that's not really what I want you to do. I want you to take that same thought that you did with the drug court and bring it to mental health. And I spent the next 10 to 12 years of my life working in the probate courts, primarily helping individuals who were at the darkest moments of their lives. And I was shocked, having made that transition over the last decade or more to probate, just how much a probate court does. So for those of you who don't know, a probate court is the court that nobody ever talks about, and it's the one that we're all going to eventually deal with, or your estate, or someone you love. You're only in a probate court if someone you love has passed or gotten sick. That's about it. And every once in a while, arguing over them. But for the most part, you don't do anything to deserve probate. It happens to you. And that's the difference between a probate court and a criminal court or any other court. So you come in and you look at a probate court and you hear about a probate court, but nobody knows about a probate court. In fact, even though we're the court that everyone's going to deal with, if you look on the ballot, we are on the last page of the ballot. I mean, we are like right above dog catcher. So I think it's our job to kind of help people know what it is that we do. So probate courts are this huge creature that has the jurisdiction of even the district courts. I can, if it relates in any way to an estate, yank whatever case I want out of a district court and bring it down to me. Now, that's a lot of authority when you think about it. But when you think about the probate courts, they really do 5 things. It's 5 courts in one. We are trusts. When somebody sets up a trust, we are guardianship. And no, not all guardianships are Britney Spears, trust me. We are probate. We are mental health. And then for some god-awful reason, we are eminent domain. So for those of you who don't know what eminent domain is, that's when the government comes in and takes a piece of your property to build something on, or takes it away from you for some other use. I kind of think that back about 60 years ago, the legislature was divvying up the powers, and somebody said, wow, well, what are we going to do with eminent domain? And some legislator threw a dart at a board and it landed on probate. So we also do eminent domain. And those dockets by themselves are as big individually as any other court. For example, in probate court 1, we do over 5,000 additional mental health cases of people that have gotten committed or going to a hospital. And I should add, a very exciting thing has happened to the probate courts. The commissioners have given us the personnel to at least come close to competing to the next jurisdictions of our size. Bexar County does more work than the next 2 largest probate courts. And we do it with 2 courts where they do it with 3 and 6 judges. We had 2 judges. And they have finally given us some extra staff. And I am proud to announce that as of 2 weeks ago, I was honored in that Barbie Scharf-Zeldes accepted my offer to become my associate judge. And most of you know her, and she is awesome. I've known her for 20 years. Additionally, Erica Moe accepted my offer to replace Barbie on the mental health docket, again, which is its own court. And we hired a young staff attorney who used to work with the district court, Hee Kyu Lee, to be our assistant staff attorney. So we're up and about running. The bad news is we've got 17 people crowded into about 8 offices. So we'll make it work. Because again, Democrats argue over how to work harder, not about how to feel better. And that's important. So in a probate court, let's talk about each one of the little things that we do, and then we can, there's no way I can talk to you all completely about what a probate court does, but I will tell you, and I want everybody to write this down. Area code 210-335-2190. That's my office. If you have any questions, if you need any guidance, you call me. Me or my staff, particularly me, I'm known for just jumping on the phone and walking people through this dark time. And if you need my help, I will be there for you and your family, as will be my staff. In fact, I am proud to say, because of my staff, Probate Court 1 was open through the entirety of COVID. And let me explain that, not just open. We were physically open. We came down every single workday. We held office hours. We held the court open through all of COVID, as well as did remote Zoom hearings. That's just the old Marine in me. And by the way, those of you who know me know I celebrated 246th Marine Corps birthday just a few days ago. But those of you who really have seen me and know me know that I am twice the Marine I was 30 years ago. But it's that Marine spirit. I never felt right with having the courthouse open because security, janitorial, information technology, services, clerks were all there working away, and I got to stay at home. It just wasn't right. It didn't feel right to me. So again, Democrats argue over how we can work harder, not who can benefit more. And I'm proud to say we kept that court open. So in probate, probably the 3 most important issues between trust, guardianships, wills, eminent domain, mental health are exactly guardianship, probate, and mental health. And this speech could not go without me noting guardianship is not Britney Spears. Okay, that's a myth. Guardians in Texas, guardianship is not that movie, The One Who Cares. That's where that lawyer took all this kind of money as the guardian. That doesn't happen. It can't happen in Texas. You know what guardianships are? They're my mom, who I watched wither away with Lewy body dementia and didn't even recognize me. And we had to figure out a way to make sure that we could keep her affairs going. They're about my cousin Vinny, who is, I really have a cousin Vinny, who is autistic, MR, Down syndrome, nonverbal. Figuring out how we're going to keep him so that now that he's 40, how his family, how his sisters and brothers can keep him healthy and make decisions for him. It's about our grandmothers and our grandfathers and our husbands and our wives when they become incapacitated, where they can no longer make decisions, or the decisions, because it's not always complete incapacity, their decisions are so heavily influenced or so impaired by others that someone steps in and says, wait, we need help. And yes, there are some guardianships which are appointed by the court because these people have no one else, but the law says it's the family that gets it first. And the law says it's a personal issue. So when you go to either the probate courts in Bexar County, please understand it's not television. It is where you reach out to continue the affairs of the people you love. And it's about wills and probate. It's about the people who have lost their fathers and mothers. Many of you know I just lost my father, and we just buried him about a week and a half ago. And we had to rush through, even I had to rush through the probate of mom's estate and dad's estate. And it was a mess. It was difficult even for me. And we had wills. But it's about closing that chapter of a person's life so that then their family, the ones they love, can continue. And we can dispose of their property, and they can take care of the things they need to take care of. And if I can give anybody any advice today is, after today, I don't care what else you do. Go download a will. An imperfect will is better than a perfect will. Or go get a perfect will, but get a will. Because I guarantee you, as often as I've heard, yeah, don't worry about it. Mijo will take care of it. Mijo is not going to take care of it. Okay? And people are going to argue and people are going to fight, and you bring peace by being the same parent you are now in death. So get your powers of attorneys. Get your medical power of attorney so that they can make decisions for you. Get your wills in place so that when you pass, they can get through the system and hopefully find a judge like you find judges like you find in Bexar County that will help you through that dark spot. And it's about mental health. And I'll wrap it up here with this because I think I'm about out of time. You know, of all the things I have done in my life as a judge, mental health has impacted me emotionally and personally as I never would have expected, and that is helping people with mental illness. It's an amazing thing. You see, when I was a criminal court judge, no insult to the rest of the county court of law criminal judges here, but anybody with a code of criminal procedure can practice criminal law. See, because in criminal law, once you get past if you did it or not, you have to get past why they did it. So let me give you an example. I'm going to point to any one of you on the screen. You stole a car. You picked up a gun. You picked up powdered baby food. Now, once I get past whether you did it or not, it's about what you did. You stole the car because you were trying to get your pregnant wife to the hospital, or you took the car because you were going to take it to a chop shop. You picked up a gun to defend yourself, or you picked up a gun to put it to my head and take my wallet. You picked up, you stole powdered baby food from a store to feed your hungry child, or you picked up that powdered baby food to cut your meth. See, once you get past who did it, it's about the punishment of why they did it. Mental health, there is nothing you did to deserve it. It picks you in the middle of the night like a dark creature, period. And when it strikes everyone in your family like a hand grenade with shrapnel that goes off. They have no choice. It's not as though one day I woke up and said, gee, today I think I'll try a little of that manic depression. I want to talk to voices because I'm so alone. I'm going to try schizophrenia for a day or two. It doesn't work that way. It's life. And it impacts and destroys everyone around them unless we step in to help or they help themselves. So for me, my special interest is in guardianship and in mental health, getting people through a process where we can avoid them getting arrested and going to jail. You know, for the longest time, our jail was the #1 mental health provider. And you are about to find out very soon that we've got some funds from the government. Thank you, Democrats. And there's going to be a substantial change to how we establish and fix and change our mental health system in Bexar County. It'll come soon enough and you'll see it. But I guess the theme remains the same from where I started. I love being a Democrat. Because when we argue about how much harder we can work. And when we leave, we try to transform the things we leave behind us rather than just be the transition or the bridge to the next person. Bob, I want to thank Northeast Democrats and all of you for letting me speak. I mean, I know it's only 10 or 15 minutes. It's tough to really get into all the issues of guardianship and probate. But today is 20 days since I filed my first petition, and I'm going to go do it again. And everyone here on the screen is going to go do it. And we couldn't have done it without you. I'm serious, because I have been with you guys for 20 years and I know what you've done. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Judge. I really appreciate your having come out to speak to us. Are there questions for Judge Kazen about the mental health, conservatorship, and so on? Any questions?
And I'm Judge John Owens again. I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Concerning death on deed transfers, that's something that a lot of people are not familiar with, and that is one. If I can, well, I would like for you to explain that to us. And how it works as far as related to being in probate court versus the death on deed transfer.
So death on deed actually is a good segue to the bigger subject, and I'll get back to the death on deed. Death on deed is exactly that, and that is upon my death, my property goes to. And therefore, it's arguable that the property is transferred on the contract as opposed to through probate. The bigger subject is, how do you keep from going into probate in the first place? And so if you, as you get older, and mind you, this can be a source of great relief and a source of great consternation. As you get older, if you have a joint account, recognize that that account can be a payable on death account or a joint account with right of survivorship. And as you get older, especially if you have 4 or 5 siblings, write it down, make a note that you intend for that person to have the money when you pass. Because if you don't, you've got it in the wrong account. It's going to transfer on death. Okay. In many cases, it's the right thing to do. If you can split it up between people on the payable on death or on the survivorship. There's a difference between a bank account with co-signators and a bank account with the right of survivorship or payable on death. For example, the transfer on deed theoretically works the same as life insurance. Life insurance should not have to go through probate, although there are some companies that still require you to get letters of administration. When I say I die and my wife gets it all my life insurance, she gets it all with or without probate. Please don't tell her that, because I think she's going to start making. So yes, payable on death deeds are a good way in many jurisdictions to avoid probate.
Thank you, sir.
Other questions?
Yes, I have one. Now, he might have already answered it, so I could be wrong, but I want to know how to avoid, like when either me or my husband die, how do my children avoid your court? Is there a way? Because like, I know that because he was a civil service worker and he retired, we use a financial planner. And the other day we filled out a bunch of paperwork saying like how the money would be divided. Is that good enough?
It can be, depending on the size of your estate and how much money you're talking about. You can probably speak to not a financial advisor, but an estates administrator or an attorney that knows about estates planning. Okay. In general, if you have set up a trust, if you have set a trust management account, and it divvies out how the money is to be spent and where it goes, and your will basically says everything I have goes into that trust, then that avoids much of the heartache and the hassle that happens in the background. It's hard for me to say, and just so we'll know, is that good enough? Because I don't know the context of where it falls. But the fact that you've done that puts you light years in front of others. Let me give you an example of why we need to pay more attention. Oh, and by the way, our courts have once a week, I think it's on Wednesday, 3 hours where volunteer attorneys will come and help people through these issues. And I empty my court so they can use it as well. You can call that number I gave you and they'll tell you when the next one is. But let me give you an example of real world impact. So our poorer, I don't say that demeaningly, our less financially secure precincts have this history of a lot of property that is slowly but surely collapsing and falling apart. You know why? Because people can't get loans to fix up the houses. Mm-hmm. You know why? Because people can't sell the houses. They can't build equity in that house or take equity out of that house because 2 or 3 generations ago, grandma died, and then my mom took the property, and then Mijo went ahead and moved in, and then he's abandoned the house, and Mija, the grandson, now is like, what do I do with this? It has no property, it has no deed, it has no title. So that happens all across at least 3 of our precincts, and that's something we need to address. We plan after COVID is over to start doing these kind of mini in each of the precincts, try to set up these mini kind of meetings where people can come and we can kind of guide them through how they can fix that. But to the extent you could avoid, to answer your question, Eva, to the extent you could avoid distributing through probate, contract, insurance, trust, payable on deaths, deed on death. All of those are mechanisms that can get you out of probate.
Well, a follow-up question would be also, we do have an old, like we made a will when the boys were young, right? And we've debated whether to update it. Is that real important?
It depends on, yeah, it is. If it's not, if the will doesn't do what you want it to do right now.
Okay.
You don't want to die with a will that says, give it all to Billy, our next door neighbor, because we like him so much. And then 20 years later, you had kids and the kids are going, what about me? So you want to update your will to be sure that it does what you want it to do. And that's a simple matter. You can actually do codicils, little attachments. A lawyer can walk you through that.
Okay, good. Thanks.
John Goodman.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge, for being here. Just have a really quick question. I have a friend who wrote a will and she was leaving her house to her children and it has an address in the will of the house. And then she moved and now she has a new house. Does she need to go and get the will redone to put the new address in, or can she just write in the new address? Or
does she still own the old address?
no?
Oh, yeah. She can't give, the current buyer or owner of the premises might be a little shocked when the children come to split it up. So yeah, no, you definitely need to fix that one.
Okay. And she needs to go back to the attorney and get that updated. She just can't scratch it off.
It depends on how the will is written. If it says the property I own shall be divided by, okay? You still might be able to do the will. But if it says my property at 1066 Canterbury Lane to be sold and split amongst the 4 children per stirpes, that's called an intestacy because there's no property to be owned. You know, so if she might have noted she lives at the wrong address now, depending on how she distributed, everything I own 4 ways, or property at 1333 Canterbury Lane 4 ways. See the difference? So she should get it checked.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? I don't see any other hands up. Well, Judge, thank you so very much. We really appreciate your presentation. Very, very informative. And it happens to all of us. It's good to know what you need to do to make sure things aren't a mess when you pass on.
I think you have somebody with their hand up.
Oh, do I? Let's see.
Roy? Is it Roy Adele? I can't read you're muted, by the way. Which is the first most popular sentence after "Can you hear me now?"
Let's see.
Okay.
Go ahead, Roy.
I appreciate your getting your number out of your court, but I was ridiculous and didn't write it down. Could you give it to us again?
Absolutely. It is area code 210-335-2190. And then, because I do this, because I consider you all friends and I've known everyone here, most everyone here, my personal cell phone number is, and I'm probably I'm probably crazy as a judge to do this, but I do it all the time. I've been doing it for 20 years. My personal cell phone number is area code 210-865-2354. All right, and I'm going to leave you one last thing, Bob. I just want to take 60 seconds. An old judge many years ago told me this 20 years ago when I first became first wear the robe. And by the way, when I get full of myself, my wife will shake me and she'll say, it's a robe, it's not a crown. But this judge came up to me and he said, Oscar, he said, now that you're a judge, never forget this. People will forget what you did with them. They'll never forget how you made them feel. So to the extent you can make them feel good about what we do, end it with a smile. In fact, I think many of you remember Judge Garhan. She says, you can never go wrong being nicer than you have to be. But in that vein, I want to leave you with a smile. So there is in probate a question that is asked. It's actually in the code book that you have to ask to qualify somebody as a guardian and sometimes as in the estate. And the question is, hands up in the air, and then somebody will ask you, ma'am, do you consider yourself a person of notoriously bad character and conduct in your community? First of all, that's a damn silly question, because if you were a person of notoriously bad conduct in your community, character and conduct, you wouldn't tell me. That's what makes you that person, right? But I had this lovely I'll remember her to this day, 84-year-old lady, crystal blue eyes. And she was probating the will of her husband. And the lawyer asked her, "Ma'am, do you consider yourself a person of notoriously bad character and reputation in your community?" And there was a pause, and she looks right at me with those crystal blue eyes and says, "No, but there's always hope."
Okay.
I'm glad I can leave you all with a smile.
Thank you so much, Judge. Leave him with a smile, and I did smile. Thank you so very much. Okay, I guess we're going to move on to the other part of the meeting, which the first of which is the approval of the minutes of the October 9th, 2021 membership meeting. I will share that with you.
I so move.
Okay, it has been moved. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the minutes of the October 9th, 2021 meeting. All those in favor, please. Please. Please go to your reactions and mark yes or no. I do believe. Okay, we have. Okay, so okay, we have a majority. Thank you so very much. The minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Brian?
Good morning, everyone. The balance as of November the 12th was $51,785.98. Of that, the portion allocated to BBAD is $8,995.25.
Thank you, Brian. We've had pretty good income over the past month or so, and we do appreciate it. I do, as I do at every one of these meetings lately, encourage you to become a sustaining member of Northeast Bexar County Democrats. Easy enough to do. Just go to Act Blue from our website, and click on an appropriate amount for you with a minimum of $5 a month, and you're in. And it helps us to plan for the future, pay our monthly bills, which are running about a little over $400 a month. It will help us to concentrate our general efforts more on raising funds for the campaign. And we do appreciate your support. Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Is Zach with us this morning? Didn't see him check in. Zach? No. Okay. We'll go on to committee reports, and I'll start with campaign and candidate recruitment. Are Ian and Tony here? No. Okay. Well, we are very much, members of the organization are very much involved in heavily campaigning already. So I do encourage you to support them. Communications. I know Martha's not here. Is Sandy still here? Sandy, she was here earlier.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
John is going to present.
Go ahead, Sandy.
Communications.
Okay, John Owens.
Mr. Chair, before you go there, could I make a comment about the campaign?
Sure.
I'm not a member of the committee, but I think that after every one of these elections that we're involved in, we ought to have a short postmortem. What worked, what didn't work, what should we do better? I do want to congratulate Colt for the effort that was put on. Colt, John Goodman, Susan Corbel, and a number of others were very involved in the House District 118 election. They did a tremendous job. We were up against a tremendous amount of money. And I know that the combination of us working in that district produced about 300 or 400 additional votes that were not there in the first election. And they were critical votes. We still fell short. And in the last year or two, we have lost a seat on the Alamo Community College District Board by about 57 votes. We lost this House District 118 by, I think, 286 votes. We've got to be able to do a better job for our members. And a lot of lessons were learned, and we need to put those into action as we go into the primaries and the 2022 elections. So I think that ought to be a standing thing as part of the campaign deal. Every time we have an election like this, we should have that discussion. Thank you.
Agreed, Bob. But we fell a little short. Have to put in more effort, certainly for 2022, for November 2022. But that effort is underway already, and the first part of which is, of course, to turn out a lot more people to vote in the Democratic primary, and I hope that we will be able to achieve that. Okay, Sandy, you had started. Go again.
John
Owens is going to talk for you. Okay, John.
Yes. Hello, everyone. John Owens, and I'm the newest member to the Communications Committee. Some of you all know me. I have statistics that I will be reporting on from our social media and from the website. We'll start with the website summaries, and I've highlighted some areas here, but we'll start with the top number, which is 203% more people are visiting our site. So that's a good thing. We need to take those numbers and hopefully we can turn those into volunteers and donors. The most popular page visited and navigated to is our About page. So that's pretty interesting there as well also. And one of the last pages that is being, the last page being visited is also our About page. Now, when we look down through, one of our most popular traffic sources comes from our county party. So we hopefully we'll be reaching out and we can increase the numbers outside of the party to come to our sites and to be more proactive in some type of involvement with us. I would like to go down and share some more numbers with you on the breakdown on the analytics on this. Our About page, we had 335 views for this month. I have one area here I'm not sure of, but based upon one area of the report that says our most frequented coming from Bexar County DIMS is probably the next number in there, 311. From our endorsements side of the page, we have 135 visitors. And meetings, we had 31 visits. Contacts, which are good, the people that went to the contact area in order to find out how to get in touch with us, we had 11 visits there. I'm going to go down and skip a lot of these, but because I think the last ones are the most important as well right now, and that's the events details, the programs, the Be a Democratic Precinct Chair, and be a volunteer. Those numbers are very, very low. And that's something we have to focus on. We only had one visit in each one of those areas. And that concludes the information and analytics that I have for the website. Now on from our YouTube channel, we've had 5 new subscribers. We've had a total of 81 views and an average of about 10 hours, 9.8 hours of view time on the webpage. So that's quite a bit. That's quite a bit of view time. The numbers are good, 81 for the month. I don't know how they fare with the past months, but that concludes my report. Are there any questions?
How's the constant contact coming along? Are we, are people staying subscribed?
We've had 2 unsubscribes that I need to take a look at and turn them over to Sandra and Ms. Spinks and see if what we need to do as far as to move forward and find out why they're unsubscribing. But there were only 2.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks very much. Moving right along, events and fundraising. I saw Anne is Diane here?
Is Diane here? I don't see her. We need to, obviously, I don't think that our events and fundraising has resumed our meetings, and I'm not prepared to give a report.
Okay.
And I do need to think about setting a date for resuming seriously that. And also, if someone else thinks that they can do a better job or wants to be involved in this committee as a chair or co-chair in any way, I would appreciate that. And Diane, I think Diane feels the same way. It can be a hard committee sometimes.
We are meeting next Thursday.
Yeah, we're meeting next Thursday, right?
Oh, for the regular meeting, for your meeting, Bob?
No, for events.
For events. We're going to hold the 2 meetings consecutively as we have for some time.
Oh, events, okay. Okay.
And so,
Okay.
and we did have a meeting a couple of weeks ago, and we did this at least tentatively decide that we would do a winter fundraiser on February the 10th. And we are going to be working on that, getting the venue together and working out exactly what we're going to do. We're thinking about going perhaps back to the Dining with Democrats theme, but there was another suggestion that of dessert with Democrats, how sweet it is as a theme. So we'll be working on that, but I hope your health is getting better, and much appreciate your sterling efforts.
Well, I don't know how sterling they are. I don't know how sterling they are, but I think Martha had so many good ideas, and I need to research. I need to go find them. And Martha really, I thought I want to call her. Like I said, I haven't been doing my research and I'm behind. And so I apologize for that. And I'll definitely be at your meeting. And if we need to split them out into 2 meetings again, we can do that.
Yeah,
So,
Martha's husband is Jenny Walker's in the hospital. So that's why she's with us this morning.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ann. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And government action and monitoring. Membership, Mabel.
Good morning. I just posted the membership through November the 12th. It reads as 370 minus 117 who have lapsed through October 2021. And I did plug our sustaining membership for as little as $5 a month. Automatic renewal of your membership when your year is up, and no worries about that. So come on and join the team. Thank you.
Thank you, Mabel. Precinct organization, I know John had to go to, is John still here? He had another meeting he had to go to, but he gave me some statistics. There are now 311 precinct chairs in the county executive committee. There's one new applicant and for precinct chair for the next meeting of the CEC, 39 precinct coordinators with one new applicant. They are, Bear County Democratic Party is considering a new approach to recruiting precinct chairs with the idea in mind of holding training sessions for volunteers, and then seeing the volunteers who are most interested in what's going on, and then encourage those who show promise as effective and active volunteers to become precinct chairs. I often mention that way back when it was possible to do so in the year 2000, when I went to vote in the Democratic primary, at that time, if there was a no candidate on the ballot, you could just write your name on there, which I did. That's how I became a precinct chair in the year 2000. Can't do that anymore, but the process of becoming and recruiting precinct chairs has not been a very exact process through the years. This new approach, I think, will prepare people better to be precinct chairs, and as a result, we will have better precinct chairs in the future. Okay, let's move on to our unfinished business, and we're always looking for speakers for our future meetings. In this case, for our December 11th meeting, we have one possibility that Martha Spinks came identified, and I think we actually have that covered. And in January, we will have a candidates forum, which will be, as we have done in the past in election years. The first forum, which will be, as I say, in January, in this case, January the 8th, will be for judicial candidates. And then in February, that will be February the 12th, we will have non-judicial candidates, everybody but judicial candidates. So those of you who are candidates or who are running for re-election in 2022, keep those dates in mind: January the 8th for judicial candidates and February the 12th for non-judicial candidates. Okay. Something that we have done in the past and which we had on the agenda for the last meeting, which was should NEBCD order Fiesta Medals. We did it a couple of years ago, didn't do it last year. Of course, there was no Fiesta. Bob Como?
I had a suggestion for speaker, probably after the primary, maybe after the runoff, because it's going to be a critical issue in next year's elections. And that has to do with what Betsy DeVos is doing right now. And it has to do with critical race theory. It has to do with vaccines and masks and how they're organizing parents to go to school board meetings and protest. If you noticed in that election a few weeks ago, 3 routine school board elections were all defeated in Judson, in Southside, and in East Central. These are school bond elections that ordinarily would have passed with no difficulty, and all 3 of them were defeated. And while I can't prove it, I would bet that the same people who came out, who were encouraged to come out, because Betsy DeVos's organization endorsed the Republican in the race, while the Texas Parent PAC, which is a bipartisan organization, endorsed Frank Ramirez. So they've already made their presence known. They are gaining steam at some of these school board meetings. And I don't know who the speaker would be, but I think we ought to reach out. Maybe Pastor Charlie Johnson used to be with Trinity Baptist Church, and he has an organization called Pastors for Children. We might reach out to him to be a speaker, maybe Texas Parent PAC, but there's a number of organizations that maybe ought to be brought in because they're doing good work, but the opposition is able to take these hot button issues and organize around them, and we've got to be prepared for it.
Yeah, that certainly was an issue in Virginia. Apparently, the Republican candidate went very hard on the matter of school board elections and critical race theory, et cetera, and was able to convince enough people in the suburbs who had strongly supported President Biden that things were going wrong in Virginia because the schools were in trouble. Yeah, that's certainly something we should address. I think perhaps it's something we might think about for next March as the first of our themes. We'll just need to identify an appropriate speaker for that. Thank you so very much, Bob. Any other suggestions? Okay, I'd like to get to the issue of Fiesta Medals. In order to do this effectively, we would need to have a design, approve the idea of ordering Fiesta Medals, yes, and have a design available on or before December the 15th, which is the deadline for having the medals available in next February. So is there any discussion, any desire about that? Any interest? Well,
I would prefer to just have the logo rather than anything sort of, goofy or anything like that. I think that promoting the logo is also promoting our brand, and it lets people know that, hey, this is our organization.
A good suggestion, Sandy. Anything else? Is it? I need a motion if we're going to do this because it will.
I have a comment or a
yes,
question.
Go ahead, Roy.
Tell me monetarily how beneficial it is to NEBCD. Is this something that the bottom line as far as fundraising helps us, or is this just free advertising? How is this helpful for NEBCD?
I think it's only promoting the image.
How much does it cost us? What is the?
It would run about
Yes.
$300 thereabouts for 100 medals. We wouldn't get very many.
Not filing until the last.
Do we break even from the $300 that we put up for it?
Yeah. Yes. We usually sell them. And we did break even the last time we did it. We ended up with a lot of leftover medals because I think they cost us a couple of dollars each, and we were selling them for 10. So we only had to sell 30 in order to make our money back. I don't know the exact price of the medals this year. A lot of things have gone up considerably.
But overall, you think it's beneficial for our image, all that?
I think so. But
Okay.
I will.
That's
We
all
won't
I
do
need
it
to know.
unless
Thank
we
you.
have a motion that passes.
I so move that we look into it and order them if they're not so outrageously expensive.
Well, could you put a dollar amount on the motion?
It's I so move as long as they are less than $5.
Yes.
For 100 medals, so $500.
This is John Owens.
Yeah, John.
I was involved in 2018 for designing and procuring the medals, were actually commemorative medals for the NAACP's annual convention. And as a fundraiser, it actually was a pretty good fundraiser because of the cost of the medals. Now, we know that the medals are going to be going up this year because the majority of all these medals, they are guys come out of China and Japan. But you will break even and you will be able to make money. It's going to be how much time did we put into it? Do we want to be part of shows or whatever like that? But it's an automatic to get your money back, and it is a good source. We made a few $1,000s off of our commemorative medals in 2018.
What would you second the motion then, John?
Yes, sir. I second. Did we get a motion?
Yeah, we got a motion. Right.
Okay, I second the motion that we look into purchasing medals for the 2022 Fiesta.
Right. Thank you.
Bob, this is
discussion. Yes.
Bob, this is Jamie. I've been putting things in the chat, but I don't know if anybody's seeing anything. So I wanted to mention that we've adopted the Vote for a Better Texas is the campaign theme for our joint efforts with NEBCD, BCDP, and BBAD and all the groups. And it really calls out a message for people to vote. So there's a really nice call to action with that messaging. And I would like to throw that on the table for consideration. The logo's already been done. It just needs to be laid out in a kind of a metal format. And I could get my husband to actually do it, but it's really it's already done. You just need to put Vote for a Better Texas. And then, you could possibly do NEBCD's logo on the ribbon, so it's a joint branded thing if you wanted to do that. We've been talking about doing that with BBAD as a fundraiser, but again, you guys are the best fundraisers and we're jointly working on things together. So we aren't territorials who collects the money, so, and we'd be glad to help sell those like mad. So I think making sure we've got enough if we've got the right message on those medals and we could make some money on it.
I wouldn't, I would entertain the, melding the two together as long as we had the NEBCD logo and a Vote for a Better Texas together. But I don't want to, I don't think that I would want to invest in something that didn't have NEBCD our logo.
Okay. Well, if we
Jamie, do you have a copy of the logo that you could hold up? The Vote for a Better Texas logo?
Yeah, I've seen it myself. I'm not sure I could find it, however. Okay.
It is on our Facebook pages for BBAD and for BCDP. I put the sign up last night from our precinct captain, block captain training, and it was on the screen, so you can see it right there. It's a very clear and clean message to Vote for a Better Texas. It's a nod to Build Back Better, and it's also neutral so that we appeal to independents, so they don't have to say I'm voting for Democrats, but I just want to vote for a better Texas. So it's an independent/Democrat messaging for 2022.
Okay. Well, I'm
all right. I'm going to change my motion to I move that we approve a couple hundred or a number greater than 100 medals with a combination of NEBCD logo and the Build Back Better to be determined by
the executive board.
To be determined by the leadership of BBAD and Northeast Democrats.
Okay.
Vote for a Better Texas, not Build Back Better.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm sorry. I meant Vote for a Better Texas. Yes, right. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to go to a vote. All those in favor, if you would go to your reactions and vote yes, or if you're against, vote no. Okay.
I have the logo on my screen. Vote for Better Texas.
Right.
Excellent.
Okay. The motion is approved. Some members of the executive board and BBAT will get together and work that out. Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on to new business.
Real quick, can I
Yes.
raise a question? Why just 200? Why not 500?
Well, I said a minimum of, so, the executive board will decide.
Okay, I didn't want
how
to
many
get
we
into
think we
the
can sell.
vote you had, but
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
we
think
need,
we ought to be optimistic.
Yeah,
Right,
I
okay.
agree. I agree.
okay, moving on. I put one item of new business on the agenda, which is support for the Bear Young Democrats event, Sunday, November the 14th. The Bear Young Democrats, after having gone quiet for the past couple of years, are reforming, and they're having an organizational get together tomorrow. And they are looking for financial support. And I wanted to suggest that perhaps we could donate $100 to them as goodwill toward getting the Young Democrats organized again.
I so move.
Is there a second? Is there a second? Okay, it's moved and seconded to donate $100 to the Bear Young Democrats. And is there any discussion? Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor, please. So indicate by going to your reactions and voting yes or no, as the case may be. Okay, we have 18 yes, 22 yeses. Okay, that's and no no's. Okay, thank you very much. The motion passes. And that is all that I have on the agenda. Is there any other new business to come before the body?
Really? Oh my gosh. Not, but I would just like to announce that we are going to have a silent auction and possibly a live auction. So we are looking for items to put in that live auction. If it's going to be books, it needs to be like a cocktail table book or coffee table book or a political book. Other books you can usually get at, unless it's, something really weird, you can usually get them at the thrift stores for $1. So political books and cocktail table books, but jewelry, vintage clothing, gift items. If anybody has a condo down at the beach down at Aransas or someplace, you're willing to let one of the Democrats, we're not talking about probably people are going to trash them, but you'd like to give it as a gift for a weekend down at the beach. Or if you, whatever, if you just call me, talk to me, and if you have a question about items, I'm really, really going to need items, and I need them really soon. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madeline. Any announcements? Listed on the agenda, I'll just run through them very quickly. Today, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, there's the Get Off the Vote Action Team block walking field training, leaving from the Bear County Democratic Party headquarters. And tomorrow, again, there's the Bear County Democratic Party Veterans Day Barbecue at the VFW post on number 354 at 2222 Austin Highway. Also tomorrow, as I mentioned, the Bear Young Democrats Friendsgiving Social at Tito's Mexican Restaurant. 12403 West Avenue. And we'll have an executive board meeting on Zoom on November the 18th. If you're not a member of the board and would like to attend, just contact me at my email, rwmiller7@hotmail.com. Jamie?
Yes, sir. I was just going to also mention that on the 21st at 3 o'clock, BBAT is hosting a wonderful panel discussion about persuasion in the time of discord. Basically, it's perfect timing for the holidays, as you might be sitting at the table with someone who has a different opinion, which we all agree would be wrong, but they're going to teach everybody how to perhaps navigate some of those difficult conversations and how to handle persuasion. So it might be very helpful and certainly will be very interesting. So you can go to our website at Bear Blue Action Democrats /Bear to sign up. There's a Zoom link right there, and we welcome all of you to join us next Sunday at 3 o'clock.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. Let's see, and further, there will be another Bear County Democratic Party karaoke with Democrats, which was a great event the first time around. Again, at the Deco Pizzeria, 1815. That'll be on December the 2nd. And our next meeting will be on December the 11th. So, and that's about it. So, thank you very much. I'm sorry, Bob, you had something to say?
Yes, I put something early on in the chat about an activity this afternoon for Greg Kassar, who is running for Congressional District 35. He has just resigned as a city council member in Austin and had a very, very great progressive record. So you could come out this afternoon at the Charity Bar, 302 Montana Street at 3 o'clock. And I'm proud to be on his organizing team.
Thank you. Denora Diaz?
Yes, sir. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Denora. I see some familiar faces out there. I just wanted to let everybody know that I'm throwing my name in for District Court Judge of the 45th District Court Judge here in Bear County, and I look forward to meeting with you guys. I put my cell phone number in the chat in case anybody has any questions of me. I'm available to speak to anybody, and it's good to see you guys out there still working and keeping it going. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All right. Is there any further business? No further business? Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. It's moved to second to adjourn. All those in favor so indicate in the reactions. Yes, mark yes or no. Okay, we have 14. Okay, we just made it to a majority saying that yes, we want to adjourn. So we are adjourned. Thank you so very much for turning out, and good luck to all the candidates. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Good meeting, Bob. Good
Hey,
meeting.
Brian, good to see you. Yeah. I wish Trey had decided. I know why he's not, but because
Madeline and her open mic.
Okay, I'm going to end the meeting. Bye-bye.